Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. I thought I'd come on and do a vlog today about my daughter's rare condition, so I hope you enjoy. So when my daughter was first born, everything was fine, the pregnancy was fine, there was no complications. It wasn't until she was a couple of months old I had to phone the ambulance. Because she was floppy, limp, and she was just like a ragdoll, as they say. Got her up to the hospital, and they couldn't, obviously, you know how hard it is trying to get a wee sample from a baby, so they had to put a catheter up to try and get some urine, which they managed to do. They sent us home, and they said that they think it's a urine infection, so they gave us some antibiotics for her to have. And then everything was fine, and then as we progressed on, as the months went on, she was in the hospital more with infection after infection, and antibiotics after antibiotics. We went in once. We went in once, and they took her blood sugars and it was low, so she had to have some diuretic. And then they sent us home again, and then she still wasn't better. She was like throwing up like bile because she had nothing else to throw up. And then they eventually kept her in, even like after just giving her antibiotics and sending her home. They decided, yeah, we're going to keep her in. Then the doctor who seen her, she asked if she could do a genetic test, because she said that there's some facial features that she thinks isn't normal, and she looks like her dad, but not like me. She doesn't look anything like me. So I thought, oh, okay. So we done the genetic testing, and they said that it would be 6 weeks. They'd have to wait 6 weeks for the results. So she took the blood, she took the test. She then stayed in hospital that night on antibiotics, and then I think we went home 2 days after, which was good. But while we're waiting for those test results, she was still in and out of hospital with infections. When she was 9 months old, we were going through the throwing up stage, and they had literally, she would not keep anything down, and she just point blank refused to eat. So we went into hospital, and her consultant had said that, you know, we need to start, because at this time obviously she was eating solids, so he said at this moment in time we need to go backwards. We need to start from weaning again. So we did, and I don't think she ate for the first 2 days. She would just refuse to eat, because I think she was so scared because it was just coming up again. So it took a while, and then I think day 3, day 4, she started to eat, and she hit a milestone in the hospital, so she sat up for the first time. I know 9 months is a bit late, but I will get onto that later on in this story, or this vlog. So yeah, that was good. We finally got her up and eating, and yeah, we were allowed to go home. When we got home, I had a letter in the post waiting for me, and it was from the genetics, and it said that she had trichonal phalangoephaly syndrome. I shorten it to TRPS type 1 because I cannot pronounce that long word. It's like 16 letters long. But basically it means nose, bones, mouth and hair. And I didn't have a clue what it was. Apparently it's rare, they say, which is, as I found out, it is very rare. I don't know anyone with it. So yeah, I got told that, and then we wasn't due to see the genetic consultant for another couple of weeks. So obviously, as you do, you go Googling it. And I actually joined a few support groups. So I'm on a support group on Facebook for it. And I found out through that obviously there's not many people with it. There's a few people in the UK, there's a load in America, they're all over the place. But I've actually come to gain a good support network for this condition, which I find is really helpful, because it's like we're walking the street and people would just stare at her because so it's not like she hasn't got hair. She's got very, very fine hair and it's short. I get people that call her a boy even though she's in pink dresses and that, which, okay, I understand because of the hair. But it's the fact of, even when I say her name, people still assume. So that's one of the things with this condition, is the hair. She'll get hair eventually, but it will be very fine and it will be very, it will fall out. So we did get a wig from Princess Trust, which was very good, but she just found it very itchy and she just couldn't keep it on. So, and she's embracing her hair. She hasn't noticed she's probably noticed it's different, but it doesn't bother her. She sees that as that's her hair. So that's good. I'm happy her embracing it. I'm embracing it too. I always tell her how beautiful it is. So that's one of the things it affects. It also affects her bones. So at the minute, she's got hypermobility to the point where, so our ankles are like this, but her ankles like bending, and she has to have some special insoles called AFOs or AMOs. AFOs they are, yeah, sorry, to help her, because if she doesn't wear them, her ankles just turn in. But before she had them, she had the Pedro boots, and I think she had them from when she was walking, so she was 1, and then she wore them up until she was about 3. And then before she'd started school, they then transferred her onto the insoles because they would be a bit more easier for her to put on. Then she could put on with school shoes. So it affects her that way. It also gives her a lot of pain. So she struggles to do PE. She does it, but before Christmas, she come home because the school had done 2 hours of PE and then she had gymnastics. And the next morning she was in agony, saying she couldn't go to school, her leg was in pain, and I just thought it was another one of her just not wanting to go to school. It wasn't until she'd actually walked out the door and she was just screaming that I had brought her back inside, took her tights off, and had found that her ankle doesn't look right, and it over the day, so at that time it wasn't swollen, but as the day progressed it started to bruise and it was starting to get swollen. So yeah, she stayed home. And then there was another time where she'd done PE and then she come out of PE and she was limping. And I'd asked the school and they were like, oh, we thought she was just pulling a fast one. So I was like, okay. And the limp lasted up until Christmas. It's gone now, but she is starting to do PE again. I've got a meeting with the school to say, look, I understand you do 2 hours of PE, but she physically can't do 2 hours of PE because she is in pain. We're waiting to see the physios on that to get answers, because we've seen the occupational therapist and he's given us exercises for her to do what she's doing. But then the orthotics and her consultant have said she also needs to see the physio for more exercises and more on what they can do with her hypermobility. So yeah, like I said, it affects her hair, it affects her bones. She's more at risk, so she has an autoimmune system. So that's why the first year of her life, even more, so like 2, 3, 4, she was always in and out with infections. This year and last year, touch wood, she hasn't needed to go into hospital other than when she had COVID. But for that, she hasn't needed to go into hospital, and she's actually been doing really well with the infection side, because with the infections, when she was 3, she had started to get a infection in her nail, and it was, so you know when you get like a willet or a willow, is it? So she'd had that, so we'd cut it off. But as the weeks progressed, her nails started going all green and not very nice and crusty. So we took her to the doctors, and they obviously gave her antibiotics. And then because she don't cope well with infections, she then went downhill, and then she had to go to the hospital. The hospital gave it a wash, they gave antibiotics, and then they referred her to see a nail specialist, which we didn't see for a couple of months. But the infection just kept getting worse. When we eventually did see him, he said that he wants to see how it goes, because they'd scraped a bit off, and if it gets better, then he won't do the surgery. But if it doesn't, come back. So obviously it didn't get better. We went back to him, and he said that he needs to do a full nail bed removal. So obviously requiring surgery or going under anaesthetic. And then she had that November, December time. And then, they've done a really good job on it. It was the most scariest time of my life, even though it was a nail bed, just to remove the nail and clean it. It's still not nice seeing your daughter going into hospital, is there? And an operation. So it hasn't been infected since. It's actually, got so much better that she hasn't needed anything. So yeah, like I said, it affects the hair, the bones, infections. One of the other things that it can affect is I don't know how to say it, but people with it are more at risk of getting autism or ADHD or a bit of learning difficulties. So there's 3 types. Evie's got type 1, which is the less severe, but it can still cause learning difficulties and things like that. So with that, we are going through the autism. We're waiting the autism ADHD assessments, because at the age of 2, she was showing signs. But I will go into more detail about that in another vlog. So that's it about, that is it about mainly what it affects, but it can affect loads of different things. Loads of different people can affect different things. There's just so much out there, but because it's so rare, it's like you're in a minefield. You literally don't know what's gonna happen next. You're just in the dark. It's very hard. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if there's anything you want to ask, just drop a comment in the box. I'll be happy to answer it. I will try and bring you on as much as that journey as I can, but there isn't really much other than appointments. But that's about it. If there's anything major that goes on, then I'll keep you all updated. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Thank you.